Hey everybody, welcome to my review for Monday Night Raw last night, which was the 21st, I believe, of March 21st edition of Raw last night. Now, first of all, if you're wondering why I'm not doing a video review on this, it's real simple. I like to kind of save battery sometimes, even though I got a lot of batteries left to use. I just feel like doing something a little different now and then, and knowing myself, sometimes I may have to do multi-part videos or reviews, and sometimes just gives this audio-wise gives me the heads up on what I have to do. Now, as far as last night's Monday Night Raw goes, a lot of people have had the opinions over the past 12 hours or so. I can tell you that over the past 12 hours, because Monday Night Raw was supposed to continue the build-up to WrestleMania 27, and I may be one of those that say it did its job. It did a decent job of trying to build up, or try to continue its build up, if you will, to WrestleMania 27. It did continue its build up in some way. It was sort of a decent job, if you will. I'm not saying they did the best job they could have to build up to WrestleMania 27, but they did a decent job. Let's just put it that way. I mean, some of the things people complained about, guys from the ADTV Wrestling, guys from Off the Ropes Show, and I'm pretty sure J-Dub would agree on this, and I'm sure ROH Styles would, and Truth Slayer, and anybody else. Jeff Meacham at No DQ. The Pro Wrestling Report at Max Sports. I'm sure everybody would complain that there was some things they didn't really need to focus that much on, and some things they should have focused more on. For example, one of the things they felt was not necessary or shouldn't have really been focused on was the media coverage that Snooki was getting due to the fact that she's going to be competing at WrestleMania. Now, I can understand people not liking the fact that WWE took about 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes to dedicate to the media coverage that Snooki got for not only appearing on Raw, but now for competing at WrestleMania. Well, let me explain something. You know, I didn't hear many people complaining about certain other times when people would get some celebrities or something like that would get in the ring and compete. I never heard people complaining. I never heard anybody saying that. So, to me, I don't think people should be complaining that much about the media coverage that Snooki got. You know, it's typical when you have something like WrestleMania coming around, and you have a celebrity like Snooki or an athlete, you know, from the NFL or the NBA or something going into the wrestling ring and competing. It's not that big of a deal, folks. It's not that big of a deal. You just got to tolerate it. You just got to tell yourself it's all part of WrestleMania. After this is all said and done, we won't have to deal with it again until maybe at least SummerSlam. All right? Now, another thing people felt was a little oversaturated was the fact that Triple H came out and basically did a repeat performance promo-wise and beat down on a young guy-wise this week like he did a few weeks ago. Because remember, a few weeks ago, Triple H did the same thing. He did almost a similar promo. Then he beat down on Sheamus. This week he did another promo very similar in a way. And then he beat down on Ted DiBiase for interrupting him. You know, I'll be honest, folks. I think what's going on here with all these young guys interrupting Triple H is for one reason. Now, first of all, Sheamus I could probably understand, because maybe he wanted to gloat at the fact that it took Triple H this long to come back, almost a year. But Ted DiBiase, I can also understand in a way, because maybe he feels he's being held down. But I think there's a reason behind this. I think there's a reasoning behind this, and I think there may be something built out of this after WrestleMania. I could be wrong, but I mean, why in the world, during Triple H's promos, would you have him on Raw, that is, Triple H's promos on Raw, why would you have him get interrupted at the end by a couple of young guys? Is it a coincidence? I don't know, but I think there's more to this than meets the eye. We'll just have to see what happens later on this year if Triple H continues to wrestle on occasions. Now, speaking of the Triple H Undertaker match, some did acknowledge and praise the fact that they had other superstars and legends accentuate and help build and put importance on this match between Triple H and The Undertaker. I mean, they had legends like Arn Anderson, Harley Race, Jerry Lawler. They had Stone Cold. They had Jericho. They had Michaels, Big Show, Kofi Kingston. You know, everybody, almost just about everybody talking about this match and how important it was. Or how important it is, actually, because of the fact that despite how you feel about Triple H and The Undertaker, everybody has to agree. Superstars, legends, fans, reporters, critics, insiders, they have to agree that Triple H and The Undertaker have remained with the company through thick and thin. I mean, think about it. Triple H was here during the, I guess you could say, the dying years of the Federation years. During the last era, during the last hurrah of the Federation years, before they went into the Attitude Era. And if you want more emphasis on that, maybe you could say Triple H arrived here during the dying years of the New Generation Era. Basically, the Federation New Generation Era, let's put it that way. And that the same goes with The Undertaker. Undertaker was here from the Federation years, the kind of Federation cartoony years, up to the Federation New Generation years. And both of them, both of them competed, aided, and were mainstays through the Attitude Era, and then through the Get the F Out era up till now. So a lot of people, whether you like these two or not, have to acknowledge that they've been through all that. And that is why a lot of people are helping to put emphasis. A lot of people, legends, superstars, insiders, fans, are helping to put emphasis and importance on this match because of the fact that these two have been through all those errors, have gone through all those errors so far in the WWE, and have done so much while they've been here that this match deserves, because of those reasons, is why this match deserves the importance that it's getting. Despite the fact how people feel about, Triple H coming out and saying the same damn thing that he did a couple of weeks ago. Now, besides that, we move on during the night. We do get a new Wrestlemania match. A new Wrestlemania match has been made official. It will be Sheamus and Daniel Bryan in a rematch for the United States Championship. Now, I do have to give a positive on this. You see, it's not every day that you have somebody saying, hey, I want my rematch at my championship, but I want to cash it in at WrestleMania. You don't ever have people doing that. Anytime somebody says, I want my rematch, they get the rematch, but it's always lately on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, or at a mediocre pay-per-view. This time, they are getting it. This time, though, it's a little bit more positive because the rematch is going to happen at WrestleMania. Will it be an opening match? Maybe. I don't know. But at least the United States Championship is getting some importance and recognition now with the fact that it will be defended at WrestleMania. And you know what? And I want to take this time and say that some people complain about the fact that the Intercontinental Championship is not getting any importance anymore. Well, it does get some importance. Kofi's been jobbing a lot. There's no doubt about that. But it's always the calm before the storm with someone like Kofi. Believe me, it's the calm before the storm. Believe me, they got something up their sleeve. And as far as the United States title being defended at WrestleMania, it's not the first time either, remember? It's not the first time, nor will be the last. But the reason it's being defended this year, unlike all the previous years, with the exception of WrestleMania 23, and maybe WrestleMania, I don't know if it was at WrestleMania 24 or 25 it was defended either, but I know that the reason it's being defended this year is because it's in Atlanta, Georgia. And you got to remember, what was the former home associated with Atlanta, Georgia when it comes to wrestling? That's right, WCW. What was their second-tier title, which they did put some emphasis on when they were in business? The United States Championship. So there you go. And again, at least that's a positive coming out of that. Now, what else? Well, they continued to build the Kane Big Show core feud. So I guess something's going to culminate out of that. Maybe an 8-man tag, maybe a 6-man tag, maybe a tag team match, maybe a 4-on-2. We don't know. And then we had originally was Dolph Ziggler and John Morrison. Then it got switched into an intergender match, intergender handicap match, which I guess, I hate to say this, I guess the Superstars and Divas didn't even realize it was until I think it kind of dawned on them, oh shit, it's intergender. I'm not trying to place the fault on them. I guess, I'm not trying to put the entire fault on the Superstars or the Divas in that match. I think it's because the Superstars and Divas, every time they team up with each other recently and as of late, have been used to doing mixed tags. Last night was an exception. They went into gender. So, there you go. And you know what? That's kind of unusual, doing intergender again. So I guess maybe this is kind of like leaning towards going to a PG-13 kind of like format. But anyway, that's what happened. We had Morrison and Trish against Vicky, LayCool, and Dolph. And, of course, Vicky's team won. And then we had Randy Orton taking on Rey Mysterio in a WrestleMania rewind match. It was an okay match until CM Punk interrupted from the backstage area where he was in front of the bus or something like that, Randy Orton's tour bus, in which he used to lure Randy out and attack him. Now, here's what kind of gets me, folks. The WWE has CM Punk blow Randy's wife, if you will, a kiss. So it makes me wonder if sometime down the line WWE ain't probably planning to do something with Randy's wife. I don't know if they got something planned for her. Maybe have her turn against Randy. Maybe I'm just thinking outside the box. But come on. I mean, honestly, when you have a villain like that do that, even after he leaves and she's asking for help and all that, it makes you think. But we'll see what happens. Maybe, again, like I said, maybe I'm just thinking outside the box. I'm sorry if this is a 2-part review. Just I got to get some things off my mind. Now, we go on to one of the, I guess you say the featured moment of the night. Now, I do have to say, before I talk about the featured moment of the night, I do have to talk about something else that happened during the night. Now, apparently, Michael Cole, as many of you probably, if you watched Raw last night, came out at the beginning to JR's music dressed up as JR. And then later on, he did another worldwide exclusive, where he basically talked about how much of a loser family Jerry Lawler had, from his dad to his mom to even Brian Christopher. And again, of course, that caused Lawler to get out of the, that caused Lawler to leave the announce table, get attacked by Swagger, who was trying to make sure Lawler didn't move, but Lawler was still able to fight back a little bit and almost get to Cole until Swagger clotheslined him and then put him in the ankle lock, and then he had Cole put him in the ankle lock.